is Banff, Canada. If you think you've seen it before, that's because you most likely have. When it comes to popular travel destinations, Banff reigns supreme. From adventurers to Instagrammers, people just can't seem to get enough. Our expectations were high for this tiny mountain town. But you know what they say about expectations? Well, actually I don't know what they say about expectations. But at any rate, our time in Banff did not go according to plan.
It just is what it is.
Here's the Banff breakdown. It's an unwritten rule that if you come to Banff, you have to visit the tiny little hamlet of Lake Louise. And just like all the pictures promise, there'll be snow-capped peaks and the gorgeous Victoria Glacier. But one thing no one mentioned to us was all this damn ice. Some years, spring comes early and the ice melts away, and other years, it looks a lot like this.
DJ's really ruining my day. He won't go jump on the ice.
Yeah.
Find out how thick it is.
There's even signs that say danger, thin ice. You know, like
Story
I can read.
Story, his life in this marriage.
Oh my goodness.
Danger, thin ice.
You're not wrong.
Whoa.
I bet you it's probably thick enough in the middle for you to walk on, but I don't think you could get out to the middle without falling in first. And then you'd probably die.
You want to test that theory?
No, considering on Canada's website this morning it said that you're required to wear a PFD because most people die from the shock of cold water first in Canada, not the fact that they can't get to shore or swim or anything like that. It's the shock that they get when they first hit the cold water.
So that's a no.
No, I'm not testing it now. I'm good. I was like, oh. The ice is actually quite thick, at least what I think is quite thick. It's about 3 to 4 inches thick, and I'm going to show you. It's beautiful, actually.
Those gusts are chilly.
After finding nothing but ice and crowds at Lake Louise, we headed back to Banff and to Two Jack Lake to pump up our new paddleboards and take them for a test drive. Looks pretty incredible, doesn't it? Well, in case you're wondering how this ended, it didn't end well. Do you want to know more about the trials and tribulations of international shipping and how this whole thing shook out? Keep on watching. If not, ignore the next 3 minutes and 50-some seconds of us talking about shipping and arguing about squirrels.
Okie dokies. Yeah, so long story short, since we didn't really tell you what happened, was we got the one board in the water. It seemed to do okay, but we noticed some bubbles coming up, and so I wasn't too sure. In the meantime, DJ was inflating the other board on land, and by the time he was ready to get on the water, he noticed that there was a hissing sound.
That was coming from right where the valve is attached to the board, I guess, and
Yeah.
I'm not repairing a brand new board to be able to use it, so I had to just deflate the board and pack it up and put it away because there's no way it's going to hold up my 200-pound butt.
I don't want to interrupt you. Remember how that squirrel was getting chased by the other squirrel?
Yeah.
Look at his backside. He's bleeding. He got bit by the
No,
other
it's
squirrel.
red. They're red
No,
squirrels.
it's like bright red. His butt is like bright red.
That's babe,
No, look,
no, his
wait till he
fur.
turns around. Anyway,
It's a
point
red,
is,
a red ground squirrel.
we couldn't even, I know what it is, but it has a red butt because it got bit. Anyway, The point is that we couldn't even put the second board on the water. The first board was leaking air, and given that we're going to be paddling on lakes that are very, very cold, and our goal with the paddle boards was to be able to paddle around the glaciers in particular, we really didn't want to take the risk of keeping a board. So first call with Amazon was super unsuccessful. Second call with Amazon, still unsuccessful. Third call, we finally got a hold of someone who is very helpful. Amazon will extend your return date. If you call them, do not let them tell you. They won't.
We told them we were traveling.
Yeah, if you have special circumstances. Yeah. That's it. So anyway, that was the craziness. So now we are hanging out at the campsite, enjoying an amazing view of the mountains, drinking beer. As crazy as that was, it gets really stressful when you're dealing with a lot of money. And it's one thing to spend $500 and take those boards out and have a great time, and then you don't think about the $500. It's another thing to spend $500 and think,
wow, I didn't even get to use them.
Yeah,
it's pretty terrible.
It's bad.
That's not a good feeling.
So,
especially now we have to carry them all the way through Canada to Alaska to be able to ship them back from Alaska.
Right, so if we buy second boards anywhere along this way, like there's a really great outfitter in Banff we thought about going to look at, but if we buy boards there, now we have to carry four boards, not two. And if you've ever spent time in an RV, you know you don't really have a ton of spare storage space, and you also don't really want to carry any extra weight you don't have to. So it's chaos, but all's well that ends well. Our boards are going to get returned once we get to Fairbanks.
They're returning our money in advance, too.
Oh, yeah, and they're going to return our money in advance. The catch with that is they could, if we didn't return the boards, they could come after us financially, but we're going to return the boards, so it's not a problem. But if you choose that outlet, make sure that you return your product if this ever happens to you, because that could probably be a bad situation. Yeah. Anyway, it's good. We're happy. We're going to go eat some cheese curds, and it's going to be fine.
And it's beer 30 time.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
After striking out twice in one day, there was literally only one thing left to do. Approach our failures like adults and drown our sorrows in beer and carbohydrates.
So we just got into town. I think we're going to walk around a little bit, check out town, and then we're going to go to Banff Avenue Brewing and get some poutine. Is going to be gnarly. These are such cute little houses. Do you want to walk down that way or you want to go this way?
We can go down the street.
Yeah, it is definitely going to rain.
Rain or snow?
Rain.
Think so?
Rain. I'm saying I can't ski because I can't ski.
Katie.
The whole pizza french fries thing.
Pizza french fry. Pizza french fry. You got it.
Cheers. Oh, that's good. Wait for it. Oh. Maybe you naughty them. Poutine and apples and chocolate cookies. Pretty good. What are you doing?
I'm doing the math for our bill because...
So we just finished at Banff Avenue Brook. The beer was the food was better than but not wow.
it was average.
So we paid 33 Canadian for 2 beers and a poutine that we added buffalo chili to, which was really good. But we're trying to figure out how much the beers must have been because the poutine was $12 plus $5. $12 for the poutine, $5 for the chili. So 16 cents, 8
bucks
for beer. Beer is really expensive in Banff.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. In other news, that storm has gotten massive. And it looks like it's going to eat us. So our plans for Sulphur Mountain tomorrow may be squashed. They might not be. Just like everything else here on this trip to Banff, we're just going to have to wing it. So stupid. Home sweet home. And the weather is not looking good.
Oh, so delightful.
Look
Oh.
at that.
We've got neighbors.
That's dark and scary. And it's cold. It got really cold really fast. I hope it gets better and that it doesn't stay this way for the rest of our trip to Alaska because I don't like being cold. Okay, we're gonna go inside. I have to muster the courage to get out of the truck. Almost 2 in the afternoon, and we're just getting started.
This probably requires a bit of an explanation. We spent the better part of the day doing this, and this. Not to mention dropping some deep committed thoughts about staying positive in the face of adversity. Inspiring, I know, right? The long of the short is our fridge stopped working, we fixed it.
Some things are just a pain in the butt.
Story of our lives. Let's move on.
Banff is not going according to plan, but the skies are opening up so we can see the mountains a little better and go do what we can do with the time we've got left.
We're going to Cave Basin National Historic Site, and it's one of the National Historic Sites here in Banff, and with it we're also going to buy our tickets to be able to go to the hot springs later today.
If you buy a ticket to Cave Basin, you also get a ticket to the hot springs. It's a twofer. With the fridge debacle this morning, I think we both are very much ready to hang out in some hot springs. Can you imagine going into a cave like that? There's signs to read, DJ. Yeah, we've been saying it wrong. It's Cave and Basin, not Cave Basin.
1914, before they allowed cars to come into the park so they could enjoy the parks via their cars on the public roads.
How'd they get here before?
I guess they made their way walking.
I can't see you at all.
Canada's national parks combined are the largest system of protected areas in the world. And it all started right here, in 1883, when 3 railway workers stumbled on this underground cave filled with bubbling mineral waters.
It was pretty cool in that cave. It's very tight though.
It might be hard to believe, but in these springs is an inconspicuous little creature. In fact, this is the only place in the world where you can spot the critically endangered Banff spring snail.
Okay, just
Take a close look.
habitat.
Can you see him?
The lighting and as well their
Yeah.
habitat is more off to the sides. It's
The sulfur smell is pretty strong though.
Yeah.
Like even out here. I think there's some trails we can walk up there.
Not maintained, used at your own risk.
Awesome. Sounds like our kind of place. It's very cold. Oh, there's a hotel.
Oh, fragile area ahead.
Let's see what it says. We had been calling this spot Cave Basin National Park or
National
something.
Historic Site.
Cave Basin is what we were calling it. And then we got here and we saw it's called Cave and Basin. Now we know why. So the cave is the first place we went into. And the second pool, that was the outdoor pool, that's the basin. And that was discovered in 1883 by railway workers with the Canadian Pacific Highway. I always get confused. No,
Canadian Pacific Rail.
Railway, CPR, which is also very confusing. But you get the gist. Anyway, the basin's down here. You never asked your friend if they farted because it always smells like farts. Like, William, did you fart? No, it always smells like farts, eh? That's just the spring.
Why? Like why? Never mind.
Why
Never
not?
mind. Hey, there's a little fishy.
There's actually a lot of stairs up here.
They're all like quarter-size stairs, though.
That smells so bad. Like, what? Dude,
It's not that bad. Not as bad as the cow stuff.
this is worse than the cow stuff. This is gross. But cool. But gross. Don't put your face into it. No, that's when it
Why
gets
did you do that?
bad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
DJ was just observing that there's quite a few creaky trees in this woods. Makes you a little nervous. There's whole bunches of snails.
Are there?
Yeah, they're really hard to see. See that like black dot and all those little dots on the black dot. You see them? So the snails we're looking at are called the Banff spring snails, and they are an endangered species. And the ranger we were talking to said that there's a bunch more right there. Will probably never come off the endangered species list because of the delicacy of their habitats that they're required to have in order to survive. Crazy stuff.
The mountain's all lit up right now. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Repeat what you just said.
I said that it's very cold in a very polite way.
No.
I said it's freaking freezing here. It was 80 degrees yesterday and now I'm frozen. What the heck? A lot of people said that Cave and Basin was not worth going to, that it was super small, there wasn't a lot to see. So we were a little bummed after the whole fridge debacle today when we realized any hiking plans we had were out the window and that kind of one of our only options was to come here. But I honestly think that they were wrong. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of history. The cinematography and the
Yeah.
video was amazing.
Oh my gosh, watch the video in the visitor center.
Wait for it to play.
It's
Watch
so
it.
cool.
Grab a chair. It's like 10 minutes long probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But the cinematography is awesome. It displays across 4 different displays. And there might be something different going on each display, but it
Yeah.
all works and it is visually amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. The springs are cool. The people that work there are super helpful. So if you have a question about looking for the snails or about what's growing in the springs, they are so excited to share that information with you. And for $11 Canadian for your entrance, plus your entrance into the hot springs,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good deal. I think
Yeah.
so anyway.
That's like
anyway,
$8.
yeah, $8. That's like nothing, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway, totally worth it. If you find yourself coming to Cave and Basin, don't believe all the doubters because it's worth your $11. Yeah. And now we're going back. We're gonna grab our bathing suits and change of shoes probably and go check out Bow Falls, which is a really short hike at the base of Upper Hot Springs. And then we're gonna go to Hot Springs. And that will be our last day in Banff. Was it glorious? No. Did it all work out? Yup. Oh, I can't bring this.
It's okay. Just finish it.
I can't. There's like half a beer in here. I'm not chugging it for what we paid for these beers. I'm gonna go put it in the fridge. So as it turns out, I could finish the beer.
So the next one's mine.
So we are really rocking and rolling right now. Went to the wrong trailhead. No more hike. Just going to the hot springs. So this is the trailhead for the trail we were supposed to take. Yeah. Bummer. Didn't work out. But anyway.
So, our time in Banff didn't really work out. But what comes next will blow your mind. We're headed off to the ice fields next week. Don't want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified when we publish the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.